now that you got the gist of values, we're going to talk about goals. This is the second part of this. We're going to do goals and then prioritize your goals. And I'll show you the reason why here in just a second. Setting values-based goals is going to help you to actually take action in the right direction. A lot of times you hear set goals, financial goals. It's all over the place as financial advisors to help people with their financial goals. Well, sometimes they're setting the wrong goals. And sometimes you have to, help them, not walk off that ledge, financially speaking, because they just don't got it figured out just yet. Well, what about us? We spend all day trying to help people with their financial goals. What about all of our goals? Well, I know this as a financial advisor, a lot of times we're helping people with their financial goals, but that's so much related to every other aspect of their life. You can't talk about finances without talking about their family, their health, their things they like to do for fun, their business. It's all related. We know this. Okay. So in order to take the right action, we need to be able to have your values first, and then from your values, take these values that we have, for example, trustworthy, honest, successful, whatever those values are, and come up with a goal that's connected to that specific value. Let me show you how this works. Really here in this step and in this worksheet that I'm going to have you do, you're going to hearken back to those 10 areas. And instead of thinking about so much of the minutia of the different, the very specific activities, I'm going to have you think again from the end of life. At the end of my life, I want to fill in the blank in every single area of your life. These are now actions that are connected to your values. See, the way I look at goals is goals are just benchmark, but most people have them confused. Most people are talking about goals the way that you and I just talked about values. Values are becoming someone. Goals are accomplishing an action you set out that will connect it to your values. You guys follow me on this? Does this make sense? Okay. However, what you want to make sure that these goals are smart. And you can see these right here. SMART goals are specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely. Well, I'm going to give you that last one first. And here's what the worksheet looks like. It's called the Life Goals Worksheet. So here we're looking at 1 year, 1 month, and we'll eventually get down to 1 week. But if we can take your values, that is your lifelong goal. Okay, you already have that one covered. Fantastic. So Jeff, you mentioned that you're committed to your spouse. Fantastic. That's your lifelong goal. Now we're going to take that lifelong value or goal and say in 1 year, I will put into action something that you will do for your spouse in a period of a year. That's actually this last piece right here. So we've got the time taken care of, 1 year. Now what you need to do is you need to come up with something that's specific, something that's measurable, actionable, and then realistic. But I'm going to give you a twist on the realistic. A lot of people are pessimists, so they come up with too realistic. So I want you to stretch that one just a little bit. Get to realistic and then stretch it, okay? So for me, if I just looked at career, this is my example. I want to help 5 clients through the Make Time Productivity System over the next 3 months. So if I was a year long, I could say I can multiply that by 4, and that's 20 clients in the next year. Okay, so that's what this should actually look like. I'm going to revise my own goal and say I want to help 20 clients through the Make Time Productivity System in 1 year. That's totally realistic. I've already helped half that number in about a 6-month period of time. I'm on track. It's also specific because I know exactly how many people in what amount of time. Can I measure that? Well, sure. Every month I can say this is where I'm at toward that goal. Is it actionable? Yeah, I have to take action. I have to do something about it. It's not just some wishful thinking. And again, realistic and timely. You've already answered that. Does that make sense, guys? Do you see how you take that value? For me, my value was successful. Well, what does that mean? Well, in 1 year, this is what that means for me in my business. Okay. So what I want you guys to do, unless you have any questions, is to take out that value sheet that you probably already have just up there, the mini obituary worksheet, and pick up, for you, maybe Lynn, it's how you can be a saver or frugal. Maybe for you, Jeff, it's centered on God. What's one thing that you can focus on, sure, just 3 or 4 minutes? And I want you to actually come up with a goal. So I want you to take out that life goals worksheet and come up with a 1-year goal that comes from that value. Okay, so after this, you're going to have all your values. And what I suggest is have at least 1 goal per every value, which means you're probably going to have 2 or 3 goals per every section. Remember, if you go back to your mini obituary worksheet, if I have, 3 values here on my list for career, and I've only done, the successful one, well, I need to do one for honesty, one for trustworthiness, right? And I would go back to this other worksheet, my life goals worksheet, and I would do another one for honesty, and then I would do, the other one for, trustworthiness, etc. So that's how you want to do this. And that will give you at least 20 to 30 goals. Now, after you complete this exercise, I can tell you what most people feel, and it starts with the O and ends with overwhelmed. Because you're going to have all these really good things to do. And you're going to be, if we're not careful, you're going to be like the guy in this picture, step 3, who's trying to spin all the plates. You've seen this before? It's just basically this performer who has these plates spinning on these spigots or these sticks. And he goes around and he spins them all. And he's got to keep them spinning. Well, there's probably 8 or 9, 10 plates in this picture. It perfectly goes with this next concept. And that is